for more than 300 years, the Orion Arm had known only one universal truth: peace was temporary. Every civilization that had reached the stars eventually learned the same brutal lesson. Alliances collapsed. Borders shifted. Empires rose and burned. Entire species disappeared into history, remembered only through abandoned megastructures drifting silently between dead suns. Only one civilization remained different. Humanity. Unlike the elder races that expanded through conquest, humans had built their influence through trade, rescue operations, scientific cooperation, and relentless engineering. Their fleets appeared wherever disasters occurred, their hospitals orbited dying worlds. Their shipyards rebuilt civilizations devastated by war. Many respected them. Others feared them. The rest underestimated them. The Karthan Dominion belonged firmly to that last category. For decades the Dominion's Supreme Council had mocked humanity as merchants pretending to be warriors. They build hospitals instead of battleships. They negotiate instead of conquering. They hide behind diplomacy. The Dominion believed kindness was weakness. What they didn't know was that humans had survived Earth, a world of predators, volcanoes, earthquakes, ice ages, pandemics, world wars. Every terrible event that had shaped humanity had taught one lesson above everything else: hope without preparation was suicide. So while humans spoke peacefully, they quietly built the most sophisticated defense network in known space. Nobody outside the Terran Defense Directorate knew its true size. Not even their closest allies. Then came the invitation. Every major civilization received identical encrypted transmissions. The location was neutral territory, Station Elysium, an enormous diplomatic station suspended inside the breathtaking Helios Nebula. Officially, the summit existed to negotiate permanent peace among alleged galactic powers. Unofficially, everyone suspected something was wrong. Ambassador Elena Ward stood before the massive observation window aboard the diplomatic cruiser, TSS Horizon. The colorful nebula reflected across her calm face. She wore no military insignia, only the silver crest of the United Terran Assembly. Behind her stood Admiral Nathan Cole. Unlike the ambassador, his uniform displayed dozens of campaign ribbons, earned during rescue operations, anti-piracy missions, and border conflicts. He looked more like an old professor than the commander of humanity's strategic fleet. "You think it's genuine?" Elena asked. Nathan remained silent for several seconds. "I think someone wants peace," she smiled slightly. And someone else wants everyone to believe they do." That was enough. Neither asked further questions. Humanity had already prepared for both outcomes. Thousands of ships converged Station Elysium over the following week. Elegant Arvellan, diplomatic vessels, glided through space like crystal birds. Massive Bracar carriers resembled floating fortresses. Organic Vesh living ships pulsed gently, as though breathing. The Karthan Dominion arrived last. Their fleet deliberately exited hyperspace in perfect military formation. 200 warships. Enough firepower to conquer several systems. A clear political message. Power. Inside the station, delegates exchanged polite greetings, while silently measuring one another. Security drones floated everywhere. Weapons were prohibited, at least officially. Human delegates carried no visible arms. The Dominion officers laughed quietly. They trust too easily. Their intelligence reports claimed humanity had dispatched 12 escort vessels. Pathetic. What they didn't detect were thousands of autonomous stealth satellites, hidden throughout the surrounding nebula, or the quantum communication buoys, or the deep space sensor web. Extending nearly 3 light years, humans never relied on appearances. The summit began beneath the magnificent, celestial dome. Artificial gravity allowed hundreds of species to sit comfortably, despite wildly different physiologies. Floating translators hovered beside every delegate. Supreme, Chancellor Vorik of the Dominion, stood first. The towering reptilian leader possessed emerald scales, glowing amber eyes, and ceremonial crimson armor decorated with victory emblems. "Today," he declared confidently, "we end centuries of instability through decisive leadership." His speech received polite applause. He spoke of unity, security, shared prosperity. Everything sounded perfect. Too perfect. Ambassador Elena noticed something unusual. Several Dominion representatives never looked toward the audience. Instead, their attention remained fixed upon hidden tactical displays inside their wrist devices. Waiting, monitoring, timing something, Nathan quietly received the same observation from Terran intelligence. He didn't react, he simply tapped 2 fingers against his chair, far away. Invisible communication lasers activated, no alarms sounded, no ships moved, yet across hundreds of light years. Entire fleets quietly changed readiness status. Hours or later the negotiations entered private sessions. Trade agreements, disputes, scientific cooperation. Everything appeared normal. Then the station experienced its first systems malfunction. Power flickered. Artificial gravity fluctuated for exactly 3 seconds. Life support automatically compensated. Most delegates dismissed it. Nathan did not. His personal implant displayed a classified warning, weapon quantum interference detected. He calmly closed the notification. Elena noticed. Problem? Possibly. Military? I hope not. She understood immediately. If Nathan hoped something wasn't military, it probably was. Deep beneath Station Elysium, maintenance drones unexpectedly disappeared, surveillance feeds looped, entire corridors became invisible to station security. Something had infiltrated the station, not biological, not mechanical. Something stranger. Terran quantum sensors identified microscopic dimensional distortions. Disposal. According to accepted physics, someone had brought technology that officially didn't exist. Nathan contacted Earth using an entangled communication relay. Condition Gray. No panic, no emergency declaration, just 2 words, Condition Gray. Within seconds, every classified defense installation across human territory quietly awakened, orbital shipyards accelerated production, planetary defense grids powered online. Fleets launched without public announcements. Civilian traffic continued normally. Nobody panicked. Most humans never even knew anything had happened, because preparation worked best before people realized they needed it. The second summit day began peacefully. Too peacefully, the Vesh Collective proposed unrestricted scientific exchange. The Arvalans suggested joint exploration initiatives. Even the Dominion surprisingly accepted several compromises. Everyone relaxed. That was exactly when the attack began, not against the delegates, against reality itself. Without warning, space surrounding Station Elysium twisted violently. Stars bent, light fractured. Entire sections of the nebula folded inward like liquid glass. Hundreds of ships suddenly lost navigation. Gravity ceased behaving normally. Artificial intelligence systems failed simultaneously. Then, they appeared. Gigantic black structures emerged directly from the distortions. Not ships, not stations, not anything recognized by galactic databases. Each object resembled impossible geometric architecture, rotating through dimensions beyond normal perception. Sensors reported contradictory measurements. 5 kilometers. 200 kilometers. Infinite. Every reading changed constantly. The newcomers transmitted no language, no demands, no warnings, only silence. Then one of the surrounding escort fleets vanished. No explosion, no debris. Simply gone, as though reality itself had erased them. Panic erupted throughout Station Elysium. Military officers shouted contradictory orders. Civilian delegates fled toward emergency shelters. The Dominion immediately assumed someone had launched a surprise attack. Their commander ordered every available weapon to fire. Hundreds of plasma beams, antimatter lances, and gravitic missiles struck the nearest black structure. The attacks disappeared before impact, absorbed, not blocked, not reflected, erased. Then the alien object responded. One silent pulse expanded outward. 37 Dominion warships instantly ceased existing. No wreckage, no radiation, nothing. Only empty space remained. Silence filled every command center. Even the Dominion stopped speaking. No known civilization possessed technology remotely comparable. Fear spread faster than any weapon. Inside the diplomatic chamber, every delegate turned toward humanity. Not because humans had attacked, because only one group wasn't panicking. Ambassador Elena remained standing, calm, focused. Admiral Nathan Cole slowly rose beside her. His expression never changed. He looked at the impossible structures beyond the station, then quietly activated a secured communication channel. His voice remained perfectly steady. Alization confirmed, execute contingency protocol Atlas. There was a brief pause, then came the response from Earth. Atlas acknowledged, all strategic assets are in motion. Nathan ended the transmission. The delegates stared at him in disbelief. Chancellor Vorak stepped forward. You knew this could happen? Nathan looked directly into the reptilian leader's frightened eyes. No, we simply prepared for every possibility.
Outside.
Far beyond the distorted stars. Something enormous began waking in the darkness, and every civilization in the galaxy was about to discover why humanity had never confused peace with unpreparedness. Far beyond the Helios Nebula, in the darkness between spiral arms where no civilization had ever dared establish colonies, ancient gravitational anomalies suddenly awakened. One after another, entire stars seemed to blink as enormous silhouettes emerged from impossible folds in space. They were not ordinary warships, they were humanity's Omega-Class Strategic Dreadnoughts. Each vessel measured over 80 kilometers in length, carrying enough firepower to defend entire sectors, rather than individual planets. Their armor consisted of layered neutron composite plating wrapped around adaptive gravitational shielding capable of bending incoming attacks around the ship itself. Massive fusion lances stretched along their hulls like mountain ranges, while dozens of rotating, spinal cannons, slowly charged with blue-white energy, the names alone, carried weight throughout classified Terran military circles. THS Resolute, THS Leviathan, THS Aegis, THS Vengeance. There were only 5, no ally had ever seen them, no enemy had ever survived seeing them. For centuries they had remained hidden, inside artificial stellar nurseries beyond mapped space, maintained in complete secrecy. Their existence violated every treaty humanity had ever signed. But only because those treaties assumed no civilization possessed such weapons. Peace had never meant disarmament, it had simply meant restraint. Inside Station Elysium, alarms continued screaming, as dimensional fractures spread across nearby space. Entire corridors, twisted, wended-in overlooked impossible landscapes, where stars appeared, inside oceans of black crystal. Gravity reversed for several terrifying seconds before stabilizing. Several alien delegates collapsed from panic. The Karthan commander desperately barked orders. Regroup the fleet. No response. Half his communications network had ceased existing. The black geometric entities drifted silently around the station. They displayed no visible engines, no weapons, no identifiable technology, yet every few seconds another military vessel disappeared without explosion. Not destroyed. Erased as though history itself had been rewritten. Scientists across dozens of civilizations stared helplessly at sensor feeds that contradicted every known law of physics. Nathan Cole remained remarkably calm, his tactical display finally illuminated. Atlas Fleet Eat A, 4 minutes. Elena looked toward him. Will they make it? Nathan never looked away from the distorted stars. They always do. The mysterious entities suddenly shifted. Every one of them rotated toward Station Elysium. For the first time, they transmitted. Not words, not images. Pure, mathematical structures flooded every communication channel, simultaneously. Artificial intelligences crashed attempting to interpret them. Translation systems overloaded. Several biological species lost consciousness from neurological stress. Only the Terran Quantum Cognition Array successfully converted part of the transmission. Its conclusion chilled everyone. Reality correction in progress. Biological civilizations, anomalous. Erger Offord. Silence filled the chamber. They weren't invaders, they weren't conquerors, they considered intelligent life. A mistake. The first strike targeted the station. Space itself folded inward, a sphere of absolute darkness expanded toward Elysium. Nothing survived inside it. Metal vanished. Energy vanished, even light disappeared. Every delegate watched helplessly. Then, something emerged between the station and the approaching anomaly. A massive blue barrier unfolded across thousands of kilometers. The darkness struck it. Reality shook violently. The barrier held. Gasps echoed throughout the station. Outside floated humanity's flagship, THS Leviathan. The enormous dreadnought dwarfed every vessel present. Its armored hull reflected the burning colors of the Helios Nebula, while hundreds of shield projectors radiated brilliant sapphire light. The bridge windows remained dark. No dramatic speeches, no triumphant music, only quiet confidence. A transmission reached every ship. "This is Grand Admiral Nathan Cole. Human Strategic Fleet has assumed defensive command. If your vessels can still maneuver, fall behind our shield envelope, we will hold the line. No threats, no boasting, only certainty." Across the battlefield the remaining Omega Dreadnoughts exited quantum space. Each arrival resembled a newborn star. Shockwaves rippled across nearby asteroid fields. Thousands of escort cruisers deployed automatically from concealed internal hangars. Drone swarms spread like metallic constellations. Orbital defense satellites unfolded from hidden compartments. The entire formation had clearly rehearsed this exact scenario countless times. Chancellor Vorak stared in disbelief. You built all this?" Nathan answered quietly. "We hoped nobody would ever need to see it." The unknown entities attacked together. Entire sections of space fractured, gravity inverted, time briefly slowed around several fleets. Human tactical computers adapted instantly. Instead of directly engaging the impossible weapons, the dreadnoughts manipulated spacetime itself. Project Atlas activated. Enormous gravitational rings formed around every Omega vessel. Millions of synchronized quantum calculations reshaped local physics. The dimensional distortion slowed. Then, stabilized, for the first time, the mysterious entities stopped advancing. They had encountered resistance. "Target analysis complete," reported the Leviathan's AI. Nathan frowned. "They're not machines." The bridge officers turned. "They're living mathematical organisms. Every black structure represented an intelligence existing simultaneously across multiple dimensions, guiding their visible forms." Would accomplish nothing. They needed something different, understanding. Nathan requested every scientific database, from every civilization present. Within seconds researchers from 28 species collaborated together. Physicists, biologists, engineers, mathematicians, linguists. For the first time in galactic history, former rivals worked as one. Elena smiled faintly. Maybe this was always the summit. Hours passed while the human fleet absorbed impossible attacks. Several cruisers were lost. Thousands of sailors sacrificed themselves protecting evacuation corridors. Not once did humanity abandon civilian ships. Every rescue request received an escort. Every damaged vessel found shelter beneath Terran shields. The other civilizations noticed. Humans defended everyone equally, even the Dominion fleet that had mocked them only hours earlier. Eventually a breakthrough emerged. The mathematical transmission wasn't hostile communication. It was observation. The entities believed biological civilizations inevitably destabilized reality through uncontrolled quantum experimentation. History supported them. Countless extinct civilizations had accidentally damaged space-time itself. The entities had simply arrived to prevent another catastrophe. They weren't evil, they were guardians. Operating with incomplete information, Nathan nodded. "Then we don't need victory. We need proof." Humanity transmitted everything. Centuries of scientific records, ethical restrictions, safety protocols, quantum containment technology. Evidence that humans intentionally limited dangerous research. Then something unexpected happened. The Arvellans added their archives. Then the Vesh, even the Dominion uploaded classified data. Every civilization willingly revealed secrets once considered priceless. Not because they trusted one another, because extinction made pride meaningless. The enormous data exchange became the largest act of cooperation in galactic history. The entities analyzed it. Minutes felt like centuries. Finally, the distortions stopped spreading. The black structures gradually unfolded into brilliant geometric patterns, resembling galaxies made of crystal light. Their final transmission reached every surviving ship, *Ederanak Nonoj. Collective survival preference detected. Arjur, Karna. Then they disappeared. The dimensional fractures sealed behind them. Stars returned to normal. Silence reclaimed the Helios Nebula. The war had ended without the destruction of a civilization. Days later the peace summit resumed. This time nobody argued about borders. Nobody discussed military superiority. Every delegate had witnessed the same truth. Humanity had possessed enough hidden strength to fight an enemy beyond comprehension. Yet their first choice had still been diplomacy. Chancellor Vorak approached Nathan privately. "I spent decades believing kindness was weakness." Nathan smiled. "It often looks that way. I was wrong." "No." Nathan looked toward the enormous Omega dreadnoughts quietly orbiting beyond the station. "You were simply fortunate you never forced us to prove otherwise." Vorak slowly nodded. There was no arrogance left in the Dominion leader, only respect. Months later a new alliance formed. Not an empire, not a military coalition, the Galactic Preservation Accord. Every member civilization agreed to share dangerous scientific discoveries, maintain joint emergency fleets, and prevent any experiment capable of threatening reality itself. Humanity became its first elected protector. Not because they demanded leadership, but because every other civilization insisted. The Omega-Class Dreadnoughts returned to their hidden docks beyond explored space. Officially they did not exist. Unofficially, every government knew the truth. Somewhere in the darkness, humanity still watched, still prepared, not because they expected war, but because peace deserved guardians. Across the galaxy children would one day ask why humanity maintained fleets powerful enough to challenge impossible beings despite seeking friendship with every civilization they encountered. Their teachers always answered with the same sentence. Because humans learned on their first world that hope is precious. But hope survives only when someone is ready to defend it, and so the greatest peace summit in galactic history became legendary. Not because treaties were signed, or wars were prevented, but because every civilization finally understood the secret that had guided humanity since leaving Earth. Prepare for peace, prepare for war, and pray that wisdom ensures only one of them is ever needed. The end.